Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. All right, athlete, record holder, clutchness, winner, champion, and the GOAT. Now, if you haven't heard already, the one and the only Tom Brady has officially announced his retirement from the NFL. And he announced his retirement via Instagram and made his speech as short, as sweet as an athlete could possibly make it. And what he said in his retirement speech is he was thanking everybody that has been a part and been with him throughout his journey in NFL career, and that he is retiring for good this time. Well, holy crap. Tom Brady officially done with the NFL. I never thought I'd see the day because I thought that this dude wouldn't retire for how long he played. 23 years, 45 years old. He retires from the NFL. This dude was unreal, untouched, and probably forever will be unmatched for what he did in the NFL. And with Tom Brady retiring, he has his generation of QBs almost completely wrapped up. The only QB that has to announce his retirement for the generation for it to be completely wrapped up is Aaron Rodgers. And this generation of QBs that we just witnessed is the greatest generation of QBs we have ever seen. And one of the main reasons why is because every single one of them, except for one guy, won a Super Bowl. And the guys that played in this generation were Ben Roethlisberger, Philip Rivers, Drew Brees, Eli and Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady. The only guy that didn't win the Super Bowl was Philip Rivers. And Tom Brady could have won 9 Super Bowls, but Eli Manning and the New York Giants in 2007 and 2011 had the 2 luckiest catches ever, and that's why Tom Brady only has 7. But other than that, when it came to Tom Brady facing this generation, he didn't just win from time to time. What he did was he obliterated these teams and won all the damn time. Nobody could beat Brady. This dude constantly walked around with a 12-win season year by year, year after year. All Tom Brady could do was win. And the thing is that for how much he won, it actually goes up into the coaching realm for how much Tom Brady won, because he had 251 wins, which obliterates anybody that starts from second place. And with those 251 wins, excluding the playoffs, he's actually in the top 10 of wins of all time between coaches and players, and he's in the coaching realm. And when you have to, and for you, in order to get to 250 wins, you have to be a head coach, you have to be a winning head coach, and you have to keep up that success for 20 to 30 years and constantly have that thing going. And Brady did that for 23 years. Now add the 35 playoff wins, which is 14 more playoff wins to second place. He has 286 total wins, which marks for 4th place on the all-time wins list, and that's in the coaching realm. There's only 3 guys ahead of him, and those guys are Don Shula and Bill Belichick, tied for 2nd place. Now, also with Tom Brady, with him winning 7 Super Bowls, he won so many Super Bowls. He actually won more Super Bowls than every single franchise has ever won in their entire history. He won 6 with the Patriots, and that tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers with 6 at the same time. And that's the crazy part, is that with those 7 Super Bowls, he got 6 with the Patriots and ended up winning a 7th Super Bowl in his first year with Tampa. Like, how do you do that? Like, let alone just winning a Super Bowl with a second team. He also did it in the first year with the losing his team in sports history of all time. And that was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's how good Brady was. And because of how much he won, he also had every single record in the book too. When it came to winning Super Bowls, winning games, or having a passing record, Tom Brady has it. Most completions, most passing attempts, most playoff and regular season passing touchdowns, most regular season and playoff wins, most Super Bowl wins, most Super Bowl appearances, most games played, most wins of all time. Like, the dude is just a walking record book. I'm not even kidding. Like, when it comes to the QB record book, it shouldn't be called the NFL record book anymore. There should be like an NFL record book, but when it comes to the QB part, the name of the records is just called Tom Brady's records, and that's what you have to follow through for your whole career. And for what Tom Brady did for the past 23 years, you cannot talk about anything that of any storyline for the past 23 years without Tom Brady being involved in the mix in whatever story it is. And because of him winning so much, he did something you could only do in video games. And because of him winning 7 Super Bowls, his career will never be matched, and that's why he is the GOAT. And another thing that will never be matched is the that cannot be matched right now though, is the Denver Broncos fan base right now, because their future of their franchise and organization is looking a lot brighter after today, because the Denver Broncos have just traded for Sean Payton. Yes, traded for Sean Payton. And how this trade went is the Denver Broncos gave the New Orleans Saints a 2023 first round pick and a 2024 second round pick, while the New Orleans Saints gave the Broncos Sean Payton and a 2024 third round pick. With how this trade transpired, the Broncos easily won this trade, because not only did they get a coach who has experience, this dude is a Super Bowl winning QB and has the Hall of Fame in his future. And with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, these guys are going to push the Broncos back into the playoffs. And what we thought we were going to see and what we thought was going to happen in the AFC West this year, with all 4 teams, with the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos, that what we could have saw last year is potentially going to happen this year. But we got to see if what QB is going to come into the Raiders situation, to see if that is still going to be completely decked out and played out. But here's the thing. It is now definitely going to be between the Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs, because of this Sean Payton, Russell Wilson combo now. And this combo is going to be especially good for Sean Payton, because Russell Wilson is Sean Payton's next success story and all of what's going to happen. Now, there's a question that is going around right now, and we're all asking is why did Sean Payton not go back to the New Orleans Saints and go on to the Denver Broncos? Well, even if it was his choice or not, let's just say he actually wanted to go to Denver. This is actually a smart move by Sean Payton, because of what's transpiring in New Orleans with a new head coach, with Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, or Taysom Hill at the helm of the QB position. Their success is slowly fading as time goes on. And how the Broncos performed last year and what they got right now, their only way is up. And with what's to come for Denver, they just got another draft pick, and now they have 7 total draft picks for the 2023 draft. And with that extra draft pick, they got plenty of picks to improve on the offense. They can get some defensive players, and they're good on the defense. The defense was great or not great. They were good last year. They were 13th in scoring last year with 21.1 points per game. They were also 10th in interceptions last year with 15. So that is most likely going to continue. And what the Broncos really need to improve on is their offensive line, because Russell Wilson got sacked 55 times last year and was on average getting sacked 3.5 times per game. If they can upgrade that offensive line, we can see the Broncos back into the playoffs within the next season or two. And as of right now, the route to success for the Denver Broncos is very, very soon. And the Big 12 success in college basketball has never been more scattered than it is right now. And we had another Big 12 game to wrap up January, because January was one hell of a month for the Big 12. And the game that we had to wrap up the Big 12's January was the number 8 Kansas Jayhawks against the number 7 Kansas State Wildcats. And the Kansas Jayhawks got the redemption against the Wildcats this time around after getting beat by them 83-82 in overtime, and ends up beating them 90-78 this time around. And with what's going on between Kansas State and Kansas, it's hard to tell on who's the better team, because both of them have had to play 4 to 5 ranked teams, and they have both lost 3 of those games throughout the month. So where are they going to be ranked when it comes to next Monday? And these guys could very well be at like 9 and 10, but we'll see when that happens. Now, how this game turned out was Kansas scoring entourage and domination started right off the bat. They scored 49 in the first half, and the reason for that is because of Kansas's fast break offense, and it did not slow down at all, because they had the lead for the majority of the time. And Kansas State was right there, and was right there for certain moments in the game, right there with the score, but it was just never enough to get over the hump and have the lead and even keep the lead against Kansas. Now, the Wildcats, they had a pretty good game. They dropped 78 points, but the reason on why Kansas was so much better this time around was because of that defense. Kansas State and Kansas was practically even in the last game, and Kansas State was able to win the game with a last-second defensive effort to help the Wildcats win this game. But this time around, it was completely one-sided for everything. Kansas had this game wrapped up on everything. They scored 49 in the first half, and they scored 41 in the second half, and that scoring entourage never stopped. And there are a few points during the game, especially in the second half, where the Jayhawks were up by 14 or more and ended up winning by 12. And the most important thing on why Kansas won, other than defense, is that they won the turnover margin while significantly having more steals and blocks throughout the entire game, while outboarding them and beating the Wildcats off the glass. And those were the reasons of why Kansas was able to win this time. Kansas State won it last time, but Kansas was able to get the redemption this time around. All right, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And I'm